Hey everybody, welcome back to Thrashing and Slashing, continuing our Ozzy tribute. Last week I posted a video on the day he passed away, doing a little tribute to Ozzy and telling my story of how I got into Black Sabbath, my favorite band of all time. And of course, Ozzy was buried, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? And I wanted to do more Sabbath videos, and like I said, I wanted to do more videos and me talking, videos like this besides just covers. And speaking of covers, there is Sabbath covers coming this week, continuing our tribute for Ozzy and the band. So I figured, why not rank all the Sabbath albums, the original 8. I'm not including 13. I'm not including the live reunion album. I'm not including Live at Last. None of that. That's all great, but I'm just focusing on the original studio records from the debut to Never Say Die, ranked from my least favorite to my favorite. And this was kind of difficult because I like all 8 of them. I know some people aren't a fan of certain ones. We'll get to those. But I like all 8 albums. I think they're all really strong. Obviously, I think some are better, hence the ranking. But as a whole, I mean, it's my favorite band of all time, my favorite lineup of all time, and this might be my favorite run of albums of all time. And they're just great. So let's get into it, guys. My number 8, my least favorite, although I do like it more than I used to, it's grown on me. I listened to it yesterday. Number 8's going to be Technical Ecstasy. Now, even though this is my least favorite, again, it's still really, really strong. I will say, I do think the best parts of this record, ironically, are the songs that open side 1 and side 2, Backstreet Kids and All Moving Parts Stand Still. However, besides that, You Won't Change Me has grown on me a little bit. I love It's Alright. I think Bill Ward's vocals are great. It's a great kind of ballady, without being too ballady and sappy. It's really well done. I think Rock and Roll Doctor's a lot of fun. I think Dirty Woman is great. The 2 times I saw them, they played that. It's the only song they played from this record. Gypsy, She's Gone, they're okay. They're kind of filler. But overall, it's good. It's grown on me. You can tell the sound was starting to change around this time. There's reports that Tony was in the studio talking about how they needed to change their sound. We got to sound more like this band. We got to sound more like that band. Didn't fully work, but I think it's better than what most people say. So I like it, So that's number 7. That's number 8, I'm sorry. Number 7, most people would say this is their least favorite out of the 8. A lot of people don't even like this record. And I kind of see why, but again, I think it's really strong. Never Say Die. The last album for, the split. Now, I will say, on re-listen, I do think this album is very front-heavy. I think the title track is fantastic. Johnny Blade is really, really good. Junior's Eyes is probably the most underrated song from the original lineup. Hard Road, I think, is really good. Shockwave is okay. It's not bad, but, Air Dance, it's okay. Breakout, Over to You. I don't even remember how some of those songs go, and I listened to this album last week. It does start very strong and starts to teeter out towards the end. It gets a little too experimental, a little jazzy for some people. Again, though, I still think it's a really strong album. I don't quite understand the hate. I can understand some dislike for it, but I do think this album overall is very overhated. And I just, overall, I think it's a really good record. And I think the album cover is one of their best album covers. It's amazing that the music is great, but most of the cover art is very questionable, not very good. But moving on, number 6. This is where the list starts to get very difficult. And I really love Volume 4. But you got to rank them as you like them. You got to be honest. So, unfortunately, I know 6 is very low for this. A lot of people put this higher. But it's just, I like the other ones better. But anyway, Volume 4. Right, look at that shot. Love the skateboard. Sorry. But overall, this is a very heavy album. I mean, Wheels of Confusion, Tomorrow's Dream, right? My favorite song off the album, Supernaut, Under the Sun, you know? And I like Changes. You know, I know that's another song a lot of people don't really care for. I get it. I really like Changes. I love the melody of it. I think Ozzy sounds great. I think it's really different for the band. I think it works. I love it. You gotta remember, Ozzy was into music like that, you know? He likes stuff like that. I think his voice is perfect for it. Now you have FX, which, whatever, but then like Cornucopia, St. Vitus Dance, some really underrated stuff on this album. This is a really great record, some great riffs. I think the production's really good. I just think this is the start of what we would see Ozzy's vocals go in the next couple of albums, of a lot of that high pitch, you know, screams he would do. It's not quite there yet, but you could see it coming. It hasn't quite hit its peak yet, but it's there. Number 5. This is tough. This one pains me to put it at number 5 because I love this album, and I talked about it last week. This was a game changer for me. Gotta rank them as you like them. Number 5 is Debut. Love this album. Listened to this a couple days ago. This is where it all began. Black Sabbath, Ozzy, heavy metal. Without this record, we wouldn't have... Man, I mean, how much different would music be if this album was never made? I mean, it's just game-changing. There's nothing more you could say about it. Look at that gatefold, right? 1970. Title track. Awesome. Heavy. Haunting. Told the story on my last video. It's the only song to ever scare me. Simplicity in its finest. Ozzy sounds... You know what I noticed about this record is Ozzy sounds very different on this album than he does the other albums, even his solo career, like that. Like, as soon as you hear his voice, you go, oh, that's Ozzy. And I'm not saying you can't tell it's Ozzy. It doesn't sound like Ozzy. It just sounds very different. I don't know if it's just me, but I always thought Ozzy sounded a little different on this album than he does the rest of the Sabbath catalog, even his solo catalog. But either way, he sounds fantastic. Geezer Butler's bass, it has that flat tone to it, but it's just so cool and groovy. And of course, I mean, this whole album is just top to bottom. Like I said, the title track, The Wizard, one of my favorite Sabbath songs. I don't know why they never played that more live. It's great. Again, the opening with the harmonica, the riff is great. It's just, you know, the da-na, and then Bill just coming in with all the awesome jazzy, heavy fills. Amazing. Behind the Wall, Asleep, into NIB, that whole suite, iconic. You know, Wicked World, Evil Woman. I mean, this album's great. It's a shame I put it this low, but it is what it is. Number 4. This is a great album, and maybe I'm putting it a little low because of it being a little overplayed, and I admit that, but that doesn't change the fact that this album is iconic, again, game-changing, and it changed my life. The first time I heard Black Sabbath was a song from this album, and I'm talking about Paranoid. The worst part of this album is the cover. I don't quite understand it. I know it was originally supposed to be called War Pigs. I still don't understand how this would work, but nonetheless, this album is just, again, just like that. You know? But again, War Pigs, possibly the best song they ever wrote. I mean, how many great riffs were in that song alone? 3 or 4? You have the title track. I think it's good for what it is. I like Paranoid. Is it a little overplayed? Sure, but, you know, I do think it's amazing how a song they threw together just to fill time on the album became their biggest song that everybody knows. And it's simple, but it works. Planet Caravan is a song that I didn't really appreciate when I was younger, but as I got older, I realized how good it really was. Again, you know, when you're younger, you want to hear all the heavy stuff and whatnot, but Planet Caravan, really good. I like it. It's very different. it works. I like it, and it breaks up a lot of what the rest of the record. Uh, Iron Man, first song ever heard by Black Sabbath, iconic. Everybody knows it. Electric Funeral, very underrated song. I always wished I would have seen them play this live. I wish they would have played this more. Hand of Doom, I got to see them play that again. One of the best songs in my opinion. It's just heavy. Again, the intro very slow. Then it builds. That whole breakdown is amazing. Just great. And then of course you have Rat Salad, which is great, and Fairies Wear Boots. This is a great album. Top three. These were hard. I had my number one, but my 2 and 3 kept flip-flopping. I wasn't sure who was going to win out. But overall, I'm going to go with Sabotage, number 3. And again, like Paranoid, the worst part of this album is the cover. This, in my opinion, this and the next album I'm going to talk about, to me, are the best albums for Ozzy's vocals. This is the peak of his vocal performance. You know, Hole in the Sky, Megalomania. I mean, he's just killing it on this album. Those high-pitched screams and that voice, just so amazing. And then, of course, not just Ozzy, but the whole band is so tight. I mean, Tony's riffs are just all over the place on this album. Symptom of the Universe, heavy, crushing, you know, Thrill of It All. How you pronounce that? Super Sore? I hope I pronounced that right. Correct me in the comments. The Writ. This is just a great record. You know, all around. The production's fantastic. The band is tight. This, to me, as much as I said I like Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die, to me, this is probably the last true great Sabbath album with Ozzy. Alright? It's a shame, you know, drugs and whatnot was going on, infighting, and all this other stuff. Ozzy leaving, coming back. It's kind of where it started with this album. It's a shame, but nonetheless, we have a fantastic album out of this. And yesterday, or the other day, this album turned 50 years old, and it still sounds just as amazing. It's aged like wine. This is great. My number 3. And this is tough. I've actually thought about putting my number 2 as my number 1, but I can't quite do that. But my number 2, nonetheless, is Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Along with Sabotage, to me, this is the peak of Ozzy's vocals. Between the title track and Killing Yourself to Live, Looking for Today, Sabracadabra. I mean, he's just killing it on this album. And of course, Tony's riffs are just everywhere. I mean, the title track has what? Maybe 3 great riffs in it alone. National Acrobat is really good. Sabracadabra. So jazzy, but heavy. It's amazing how they were able to do that. One of the most underrated songs, in my opinion. Who Are You is really cool. Bro, Architect. This is just... Again, this is just bands peak of their powers. Everyone's just firing on all cylinders. Man, I love this record. However, the only album I love more than that, one of my favorite albums of all time, and I listened to this recently, it has to be Masters of Reality. First album with the down tune. Sweet Leaf, great opening. Killer riffs. After Forever, underrated track. So glad I got to see them play that live. Absolutely amazing. Embryo. Even Embryo was really cool. Children of the Grave. Probably my favorite Sabbath song. One of. Again, 2 or 3 great riffs just in that song alone. Lord of This World really grew on me. I think Lord of This World's fantastic. Solitude. Probably the biggest surprise from any of these albums the older I get. The older I get, the better songs like Solitude sound. It's just so well put together. Geezer's bass really makes that song great. It's just so melodic and almost like calming and relaxing. I don't know. It's just so great. And then of course, Into the Void. How many great riffs are in that song? The opening riff is possibly one of my favorite guitar riffs of all time. The breakdown's amazing. The lyrics are amazing. I mean, comment below. What's your favorite Sabbath album? Rank all 8. I don't think you could go wrong. I just wanted to talk about my favorite band, Black Sabbath, and rank all their albums. This is my favorite band of all time, my favorite lineup. These are my favorite run of albums of all time. I just think, it's a shame they're gone, but I think they went out on top, and I'm just glad that we have all these great records to look back on and listen to. I absolutely love Black Sabbath. They mean the world to me. They've been the soundtrack of my life for a long, long time. And it's a shame it's over, but it was a great run. So, God bless Black Sabbath. God bless Ozzy. Thank you all for watching. More content coming soon. See you guys later.